So he organized so many activities for the help of the students. So I welcome this event and thank you very much.
Vaishnava?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Now I would like to introduce our today's chief guest, Dr. Ranjit Havaldar. Dr. Ranjit Havaldar is currently scientist at Center for Materials and Electronics Technology, Pune. He did his PhD in physics at Department of Physics, University of Pune in 2010 and holds Masters in Physical Chemistry. He was a Erasmus Mundus postdoctoral fellow at University of Mary and Marie Curie, Paris. He was a FCT postdoctoral fellow at the University of Aveiro. He was also selected for D.S. Kothari postdoctoral fellowship. He has 40 publications to his credit and 2 book chapters to his credit. He has 3 publications in prestigious Nature family journals. So we would like to hear you all. Sir, please guide us. We are eagerly waiting to hear you.
Thank you, Professor Vaishnavi, for the kind introduction. Uh, Also, many thanks to Vikram for calling me on this occasion. A very good morning to Yashwant. I think it has been being afternoon in Taiwan now. So post lunch, we are making him talk. A very good morning to Principal Raut sir. Also, he gave a good introduction of the historical background of science and how science and socialism are related. Uh, so let's come to today's topic, and today's topic is research opportunities in India and abroad. So let's see how it goes. We all have a lot of dreams when we do 12th standard science. Then what happens is that most of the people go to engineering. We are also in that queue. Then to medical, and after that, whatever is left, I'm talking about 60 to 70% of the people. They come to this science stream. Then in science streams also there is grading, like somebody goes to biology, somebody goes to zoology, somebody goes to chemistry, and we all choose these streams because not because we are very much interested. Sometimes there is a compulsion of our marks. Sometimes there is a compulsion of our economic background. Sometimes we have good marks, but we don't have economic background to pursue engineering or anything. And sometimes there are a lot of circumstances because of which we come to this stream. So when we come to this stream in first year of our degrees, we just start. I mean, first 6 months just go on, and we are just trying to see how this course is. And as this course progresses from first year to second year, that time we become a little serious, and then we start thinking, okay, we have to do something about our career. So most of this 50 to 60% of this plot get introduced to the terminology of research in second year of their course. And by the time third year comes, like then there is again divisions. Some people will go to again some professional degrees like management, etc., etc. And there will be at least 10% of people, 10 to 20% of people who are very much determined. No, I want to pursue this MSc, and I want to do PhD. So that 10% is done in TYBSc only. So in TYBSc only, most of the people are prepared that okay, we have to go up long career in this, because research is not a small career; it is a long career. So out of whatever 10% people come to MSc, they really get opportunity to do research in India and abroad. This just by passing. Now there are a lot of exams. Just by passing those exams, also people may not get an opportunity to research. It's sheer pursuance, it's sheer patience, and it's some smart work, some smart follow-up that can give you a research opportunity. So what is meant by smart follow-up is that, like I will tell you what I did is, I studied in college. Uh, in a college, I was not at the university department. In a college department, I studied. From there, I mean, once just while talking to one of my senior friends, he told me that there is some lab called NCL and etc. I told, okay, who will take me inside this big campus of NCL? That was my first question. Which which big scientist should I will meet me? I mean, will spend time and meet me and give me some project to do. So he told, no, don't do like this. You have to go there. You have to tell the watchman that I want to see some opportunity, etc., etc. I want to talk to some people, and you have to talk to scientists. And then probably, if you talk to 15, 20 scientists, probably one of them may agree to give you a small research project. And that is what I did. I went to NCL. I talked to a lot of people, and then once I talked to one head of the division, he told me, okay, come from tomorrow. I spent I did not do any project in that. That entire time I spent in the library, he told, okay, go and read all these books, etc. So my project was literally theoretical. I read a lot of things on quantum mechanics, and then I wrote a project on the hydrogen atom, which is already there in the book. So this is how I did the project. So whenever you are looking out for opportunities to do research, you should always remember this in mind, that you should not hesitate to go and ask people that, okay, sir, this is your area of research. I am interested to work, and I would like to, if you give me some opportunity to do some small project, etc., then it will be good. So this is how we start our research career at master's level. Maybe if you want to do it at bachelor's level also, this can also work. So in whichever city you are living, wherever you are living, there may be a national laboratory nearby, or a university laboratory. Universities also do a very good research. So try to approach them. Try to go there. Spend your vacation. I mean, at least you have 2 months of vacation. Try to, if you really want to make a career in research, try to spend your small vacation there. There, you may not be doing exactly research, but at least by going to that lab, you will understand what is research. The understanding of what is research is also very important. Exactly what kind of work you have to do, that you have to understand. And then post MSc also, now there are two streams. Post MSc there are two streams, like you get a GRF, and then you get admission for PhD program. And there is other stream very opportunity, but now I think that other stream of stream is stopped in India. Now you have to either qualify university exams, that's GATE and etc., or either you have to qualify national level exam like NET, etc. But research is, see, I will tell you one thing, that research, or being a successful research, is just not about qualifying exams. I mean, you may qualify an exam, that may be your entry point. But after that, putting that 3 to 3 years or 5 years of day and night efforts into that program, and a PhD is like entirely new course. So you require to put that time. I mean, entire, like I tell you, like first 1.5 years, you try to just understand what research you are doing and for why you are doing, and after that you get a glimpse. Okay, this is the path I have to follow. This is the work I have to do. And most of the research, I mean, like people say, oh, I had to spend 5 years on PhD. I have to spend three years on PhD. What to do? So it is not like that you are spending 3 years or 5 years. You are spending those 3 years or 5 years to develop an analytical thinking in a certain particular area, and then acquiring those skills will help you to find other jobs, will help you to make your own career as a scientist or as a university professor. or maybe like if you do very applied research, you may go into industry also. So the basic thing is that how to identify our potential. First thing is that you have to identify your potential that you want to go to research. Just because your neighbor is going to research, you don't go to research. That will be an absolute waste of your time. Because unless and until you have that, you need to have that some fire inside you to really kindle yourself as a researcher. So first thing is that first and foremost you should feel that okay, uh, I, uh, I want to do PhD, I want to do research. That feeling should be there. Second thing is that you have to make your self-assessment in the sense you have to make a self-assessment that all these national level exams will you be able to pass. That is a self-assessment everybody has to make. Can you, because that also requires time. That also sometimes what happens is that students spend 2 years in qualifying that exam, and then after that 5 years. So it becomes 7 years total. So you have to see that whether within a stipulated span of 6 to 7 months, means from your third semester to after 6 months after your completion of your degree, can you qualify any of these national level exams or state level exams? So that self-assessment you have to make. Third thing is that at the end of self-assessment, if you have to make, I mean, which exam you and whether you have to do PhD in India or abroad. That is also an assessment you have to make. Like if your monetary condition is a little better, then there is no harm in trying to go PhD abroad, like in countries like Germany or Europe or Japan or maybe United Kingdom or United States. That is very costly affair in United Kingdom and United States. But in other countries like Europe and Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, etc., it may be a little less expensive. So that assessment also you have to make because that is very important. So once you make all these assessments, like suppose if I make an assessment that okay, I cannot go abroad, uh, I cannot qualify a national level exam, then I have to think of qualifying this university level exam. So how to qualify that university exam? So that you have to think. So this homework you have to do. Without homework, you just pass MSc and you tell, okay, I will go to do research. That is very difficult. So this little smart work you have to do. Also, it may happen that you can join some project also. Some project you can join. But when if you join any project also, you can do research, but still these problems will remain. Just don't do research. Like after 2 years in research, if you are not registered for PhD, or if you are not getting an industrial job, or if you are not being able to secure a PhD proposition in India or abroad, then that further continuing that research is waste of time. Then you have to leave that and do some stream to find a permanent job or something to make your living, because survival is also important. And once you make this self-assessment, and there is also one more thing, like if you are a project staff on a project and you think okay, in India you don't want to do, or in India it is very difficult for you to qualify all the exams and get a secure PhD position. While on project also, you can look at people who are doing similar kind of research and apply to them abroad for PhD position. That is also one possibility. Another thing is that networking of friends. That may also help you to secure a PhD position abroad. And one thing I want to tell you is that money is not a barrier. Money is not a barrier. The real barrier is your thinking. The real barrier is your thinking. There is a little bit in Marathi, I will say that if you have, in Marathi it is called as Vaicharik Daridya, means intellectual poverty. If you are intellectual poverty, then no one can help. But if you have economic poverty, everyone can help. You can still go abroad and do PhD. There is one example from HV Desai College also only. There is another person called Tushar Pandit, who has recently, he was in Taiwan, now he has recently joined in Korea. His monetary condition was not good, but it was sheer like he had that desire and that very powerful desire and very powerful dream that he should go abroad and do PhD because I was in close contact with him. I directly told him that okay, the kind of physics it's very difficult for you to pass any exams here. It's better you try abroad. And then with full fledged, he tried abroad. He made a database of 1,600 people working in the area of what you call solar cells all over the world. He applied to those 1,600 people, and so he got. I mean, at 2-3 places he got. Now he is a UNIST, which is in I think in top 100. So this is the way. I mean, like you have to make a database. You have to find an area. I mean, he zeroed in on one area that he wants to do in solar cells only, and then in that limited area, he found out he founded 1,500 people. Okay, in that limited area all over the world, and to 1,003 he communicated, and then he found out. So this is this pre-preparation is also very important, and the pre-preparation time for you is like 6 months before the final exam of MSc, up to 2 years post MSc. After that, then there are new people, etc. Then it's very difficult to find job. So this is the way that you have to do. And then there are sites like dat.de which will show you. There are a lot of sites which will show you findaphdposition.com, which will show you that all the PhD positions all over the globe. And then also you have to make an assessment of how long you can spend on doing a PhD. In India, at least you have to spend 5 years to go anywhere. In Korea also, I think it's 5 years. But in Taiwan, etc., I think Taiwan also it's 3 to 5 years. In Europe, it is strictly 3 years. So that also you have to see how you can work. What is your ability to do efforts? That is also important. Like if you go in Korea, then you have to work for 12 hours. If you go in Europe, the work leniency is less. Like people are that there is a very simple thing. Like people are giving you $1,200 as a solution. So $1,200 is something around 70 to 80,000. So if somebody is paying you 70 to 80,000, putting some money on your research, he will expect some kind of quality output. So these are all the things you have to make an assessment. Also nowadays there are banks which will fund your research if you get a position abroad. Suppose you are getting a position in the United States, so maybe probably in United States 1 or 2 years you have to fund yourself. Or in some country like Germany, if you have to spend at least 6-7 months, you have to fund yourself. You have to show that in Germany there is something called as bank account blocking. So you have to show that you have the whole money for 3 years. They will lock that money in the account and only give 700 euros per month from that account to you. So you have to make. So if you get a fellowship, then you will be making more money than the bank account. But before beginning this, you have to make all this. Banks are very liberal. So banks are now funding people to do degrees abroad. Up to 5 lakh rupees, there is no guarantor required. Beyond 5 lakh rupees, I think there is guarantor is required. But then also it is a work. Like you will ask me why you want to do PhD abroad. Like why do you want to do PhD abroad? Simple thing is that they also do the same kind of reaction. In India also we do the same kind of reaction. Most of the research is safe. But how to look at that research from a new angle? Why to do that kind of research? What is the importance of that kind of research? And securing and then securing a good job. Since if you do PhD abroad, then there are more chances that you will get a faculty position or a good position in India and abroad. In India also you can do it, but there is a lot of competition. I mean, if your grading is very good, like if you're throughout outstanding, then probably you may end up in IITs also if you do PhDs abroad. So this is the whole scenario. And if you are on a project position, you should always make sure that within the scope of those 1.5 year, 2 years, you have to make you have to see that you end up with at least one publication. So publications are another things that will help you to secure fellowships, because not all can afford without fellowship. But there is nothing to be afraid. Like, so what I'm saying is that if you have a dream, if you have good marks that are backing you, also one more thing, you should make sure that at least you are 60% throughout, so that post PhD job opportunities will also be good. Sometimes what happens is that people are not able to perform very good in MSc, or sometimes. But if you are within the if you are above 55, then there is no harm in trying to do PhD abroad. Most of the time now, the world has set standards, so they know that okay, 60% in India is this much, 80% is this much. So most of the countries know that. Most of the countries like Germany, etc., they recognize these exams like NET, SET. They know that in India this is a national level exam, GATE, etc. So and now there are I think nowadays there are coaching classes also for NET, SET, GATE, which colleges themselves are conducting. So that is also one good aspect. But just qualifying NET doesn't ensure you a job, etc. So instead of sometimes, I tell a lot of people that okay, you are waiting 2 years for trying to get a secure job. Why don't you complete a PhD in that time? But anyway, you are waiting only enough. So this is also a good option. Like I think most of the MSc people, either you should try to get a job, either you should try to get a research position in India or abroad. Those are the most lucrative career options for India, for people who are doing MSc. Because nowadays the salaries for project staff are also 40,000, 45,000. So you ain't getting 45,000 anywhere in the industry. So I think in that way also research is a lucrative career. Only thing is that in research you have to be a constant performer. You have to be constantly agile, so that so that you don't lose anything. So you have to see that from this 40,000, how you it's an opportunity that is given to you. How you settle your career from that opportunity, that everyone has to see, because I think the problem with for females post 27 there are a lot of opportunities up to 60, like women scientists, etc. There are a lot of opportunities post 27, and I think they don't have in the middle. I think they don't have any funded opportunities. They have to qualify exam or something like that. But for male students, there is a there is a problem that all your funding opportunities will see that 35 to 40. So that 40 to 45, no, 40 to maybe 55. Then there is a lacuna of opportunity. So that is why you need to make up to 40. You need to make sure that how you are at some position, so that those 15 years you can pass. Again, after that, there are emeritus scientists, etc. Post 55 to 60, there are a lot of opportunities. Again, up to probably up to 70. But in that middle gap of 15, 16 years, there is no opportunity. There is no government funded scheme for in India presently. So that is why male students need to find something very that will continue, either business or something like that, for that will continue to. I mean, survival is also important. Survival is also an equally important part of this whole story. So I wish you all the best, all the participants who are here. I think Vikram was with us. I think Vikram is very capable of guiding people. So he was a PhD student with us. He has also qualified all national level exams. So I think he is the most apt person who can guide you
Yes,
all
sir.
at the college level. And also I think Yashwant is also there, his brother. So he will guide you how to find a because he himself has found a PhD position. I told you theoretical knowledge. He will tell you now practical knowledge, how to find a PhD position, exactly how to find it. Okay. So thank you, Vikram, and all the organizers for giving me this opportunity to speak to young students. I wish all the best to young students, and also I look forward to Yashwant's talk.
Thank you,
Over to
sir. I think there is a Dr. Shobha Wagmode. She's the head of department from Garware College. She has some. She has to
Yes,
ask
sir.
you something. Please,
Good
ma'am.
morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Am I audible?
Good morning, madam. Good morning, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Sir, very informative lecture. I mean, you enlightened every avenue of MSc chemistry. Very good lecture. I congratulate you. And one question I have, sir. You mentioned about post PhD. When you do PhD in foreign countries and after post PhD, can you enlighten something that what are the avenues in India if they do PhD in foreign countries?
I will tell you the post PhD avenues are that you can get directly a job in industry,
Okay.
jobs in academia. Otherwise, you can start your own business. It all depends on it all depends on academic. Suppose you are outstanding throughout, and then you have a foreign PhD. From where you have that also depends. Like if you have a PhD
Okay.
from top
That
20
means
in the world.
that means 100% success rate.
Yeah. There is a 100% success rate because the thing is that the person who goes abroad, 99% it doesn't
That's what
return to India.
that answer I want. That answer I want actually. Yes, sir.
99% they don't come to India, because I will tell you about one of my students. Actually, she was monetarily, economically, she was very fine. I mean, her parents were very rich, etc. But her academy was not so good. Okay. But she was determined because of she was the only child of her parents, and they had a lot of economic strength. So she told, "Sir, I am going to United States." She went to United States, did a MS, and now she is in Global Foundries. But you look at her academia, she is second class in 12th standard. She in a BE also she is just I mean up 55, 57. But the thing is that she went there. She went into she actually what I was talking about is clarity. On the day when she joined me for the project, she had a clarity that she has to go to MS. On second, she had a clarity that she wants to do only in semiconductors. So she went there, she did it in semiconductors, and she got a job in Global Foundries. So I think the more clarity you have on any subject, it is very easy for you to find out. Like if you decide that okay,
even we can channelize students accordingly.
Like if somebody is determined that he has to do in organic chemistry, someone will do in organic chemistry. Then he has a lot of avenues in medicinal chemistry, pharmaceutical chemistry. He can go to a lot of contract research organizations. He can go to pharmaceutical companies. I mean, but it depends on the clarity. The clarity you should have, and that clarity develops when you do this initial small projects. A 6 month project, that 2 years project, that brings clarity to your mind.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful advice and encouragement. Now, I would like to introduce our second guest, Dr. Yashwant Pandit. Dr. Yashwant Pandit, sir, did his PhD from National Tsinghua University, Taiwan, in organometallic chemistry. He did his master's in organic chemistry from Savitribai Phule Pune University in 2013. He has research experience and he is an ongoing postdoctoral fellow at Department of Chemistry, National Tsinghua University, Taiwan. He is a PhD research scholar again at National Tsinghua University, Taiwan. So with his wonderful research experience, we would like to hear you, sir. Please guide us. Am I audible to everyone? Yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
You are audible.
Dr. Yashwant, you are on mute. Please unmute your.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. I would like to thank Professor Dr. Ganesh Raut sir, and thank you very much for kind introduction by Professor Vaishnavi ma'am. And I would like to thank Dr. Vikram Pandit who invited me for this webinar. So today I would like to present my work and that country where I did my research work, here culture, peoples, and I would like to explain also how to process the PhD in abroad, also in India. There are many things there are included like financial, also your network with your friends that will help you to join the PhD in abroad and India also. So I will start. So can you hear me all?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, just 1 minute. So our today's webinar topic is research opportunities in India and abroad. So
Yashwant, have you shared? I don't think we are.
yeah, yes. Just 1 minute.
Yeah, we can't see. We can't see his
Yeah,
screen.
yes, yeah. Now it's coming.
Yes, we can see. Yes, yes.
Okay. So today's topic is research opportunities in India and abroad. So in my presentation, the outline is like introduction. Here the scope and process for higher studies. Also, when we are doing a PhD or anything like masters or graduation in abroad, there are many advantages. Also, I would like to explain about Taiwan, its culture, universities, facilities. Also, I would like to talk about my laboratory and research. And in chemistry, what is the main scope for chemistry in our daily life? Why we are going to do the chemistry? So also when we are doing like a undergraduation and post graduation, there are many opportunities between them, because many people they are not capable for doing like a PhD also. So there are many opportunities while doing undergraduations or post graduations. Also there are many challenges after post graduation, like many students like thinking what will we do after the post graduation, like job or research. There are many things. So initially I did my bachelor in chemistry in Sirampur Ahmednagar. So after that I joined masters in SP College Pune. And in my family actually the total background is chemistry, because my brother and my uncle they are all already in the chemistry field. So indirectly I came also in the chemistry field. Then later on in 2013, after I did my master, I joined as a project assistant in Defense Institute of Advanced Technology, DIIT Pune. So before joining the project assistant, I gave many interviews like in different institutes.
Dr. Yashwant,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt you.
Okay.
Are you on first slide only?
Okay. Okay.
You are on first slide. Just make a PowerPoint presentation slideshow mode,
Okay.
because
Yes.
we are only first slide is there.
Oh, it's already it's not coming.
No. Better
Now?
way, No. It's not working. You just stop sharing. Yeah,
Okay.
it changed now, but still it is not on presentation mode.
Wait. Coming or not?
Yes, we have outline, introduction, scope, and this slide.
Now?
Just to make it slideshow mode. Yeah, it's moving. You just do the slideshow mode.
Okay. Yeah, it's already in slideshow. So it's coming or not?
I think it's working. Wait. No,
I'm
still it's not showing.
I'm
Vaishnavi
scrolling.
ma'am, is it okay?
Yes, sir. Slides are visible.
But
I'm
it's not
sharing.
on slideshow mode.
Yashwant, sir, can you please on the presentation mode?
Yeah, it's already on a presentation in slideshow mode.
Then why it is not full screen?
Yashwant, just do one thing. Stop the presentation. Stop sharing. And once
Okay.
again, if you share, I think it will come.
Okay, just wait one minute. Now see. Coming or not?
No, not it.
Actually, it's showing here like Teams Microsoft.com is sharing a window, and it's I scrolling the all slides.
Okay.
Still not coming.
I think what I can do, I will open it here
Okay.
and I'll share it. Okay, just
Okay.
give me 1 minute. Huh? You stop sharing. I'll share it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So can I start? Hello.
Yeah, you can start. You can start.
Okay.
Yeah, hear you.
So, Dr. Vikram, can you just
Hello.
go to second slide?
Yashwant, now you can start.
Okay. But how you can scroll my presentation from there? Just 1 minute. Okay. So I did my bachelor in. So do you hear me? Okay. So I did my bachelor in chemistry in 2011. After that, I did my master's in organic chemistry from SP College. Then I joined as a project assistant in Defense Institute. So before joining, I gave many interviews like in NCL, ISER. So there are many fields to join as a project assistant in NCL or ISER. So accidentally, I gave an interview in a DIIT in 2013, and there I worked as a project assistant, and I did one project where development of organic and hybrid nanocomposite. Those are applicable for solar cell. So after completing my project assistant, I was looking forward for a PhD. Also, sidewise, I'm doing for national level exams like SET NET. So in 2016, I qualified for a SET exam. So that sidewise, I was looking for a PhD in abroad and India also. So one of my senior who recommended me in Taiwan for PhD. So I joined PhD in National Tsinghua University, Hsinchu, Taiwan, under the guidance of Professor Rai Sheng Lui. He is a very expert guide in gold catalysis, and he is a very well known in the world and one of the pioneer in the field of the gold catalysis. So it was a big opportunities for me to work under him because he's having a very well known publications like Anguate Chem, JAX. So those are very well known and reputed journals in our field. So I did my PhD in the field of gold catalyzed transformation of the alkyne and aldehyde for the synthesis of highly functional molecules. So in my PhD, I published more than 4 publications in like a chemical science, organic letter, also in advanced synthesis and catalysis, organic chemistry frontier, and all these journals having an impact factor more than 6. Also before my PhD, also I published 6 paper as a second author, third author. So after completion my PhD in 2021, I joined as a postdoctoral fellow in same guide, Professor Rai Sheng Lui. So I would like to talk about Taiwan. When I came in Taiwan, what problem I face, what is the culture here, and the university and their facilities. So when I came first in Taiwan, and I experienced first time the bullet train. I never saw a bullet train because in India still we don't have a bullet train, except Delhi. So first time I sit in a bullet train, and the train speed is almost 1600 kilometer, 300 more than 300 kilometer per hour. So when you sit still, you are not experiencing the speed of the bullet train is like a smooth. And Taiwan is a very beautiful island. Here the picture I am showing is a 101 tower, is the 4th highest tower in the world. And 101 means it's having a 101 floor, means 101 floor. So and it's very beautiful. Every new year they are having a lighting, fireworks. So it's there are many people coming around the Taiwan. They are coming only looking for this fireworks and lightning. And in when we are talking about the culture, the Taiwanese peoples are, they are really polite, they are really helpful. Whatever you need, you just ask them. Still then the Taiwan people, they are very lack of to speak English, but still they are trying to help you. And the main culture like a Taiwan is here, there are many night markets. Night markets means most of the like we have food facilities like in Marathi we are saying like a khawgali. So here also we have night markets, so you can go night everywhere. You get many different kind of foods, drinks, everything. And the main thing is here the security. Here the most like a main thing is women are very safe. Whenever like if women go outside at 2 o'clock in the night also, she is still very safe because here the security and people actually culture is very nice here. The like many things like if you did many wrong things here, the fines are very high. So indirectly people become a discipline, they follow their government rules. And when we are talking about universities, Taiwan having world top class universities in the world. Here the National Taiwan University, it's coming about like less than 300 in the world. And facilities, when we are talking about the facilities, about research and all these things, like you are getting good facilities, like in the hospital also when we are going. Here the main thing is like you got a national health insurance card. It's just they are taking about only $400 from here, and you get whatever like facilities for your medical health is you are getting. So it's very easy to approach here. So in second slide, this one is a CSK Memorial Hall. So here this memorial hall is for the king for the Taiwan who developed this country, and it's a very beautiful place to visit in Taiwan. Here also this different kind of festival we observe. It's one of the biggest balloon festival, always in every year happen, and this happen in Taitung as a place in Taiwan. This one is also another Taitung balloon festival picture. And the beautiful thing is about Taiwan is here food. So the Taiwan is very famous for their tofu. Tofu is kind of a food made by the milk, soya milk, and there are different kind of tofus like stinky tofu, fried tofu. Also the noodles are very famous here, and momos, different kind of momos. And Taiwanese food is very healthy because they are using very less kind of oil, salt, sugar. So here the health issues are very less. People are very healthy. Even I came here like around, I have spent here almost 5 years, but I never feel about like having a cold, cough, fever, because the environment is also very clean, no dust, and all the roads are very clean. So Taiwan is very beautiful country. So I would like to come to my university. I would like to talking about this National Tsinghua University. In the its world ranking is 363. And can you hear me all? Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So I would like to explain National Tsinghua University. Its world ranking is about 363, and my university chemistry department is very well known because here there are very world famous professors. They already work here. Even one of my professor also is one of them. He is the pioneer in the gold chemistry. He developed many new things in the gold chemistry, and he took the department of chemistry to the top level. Also in last semester, we have one of the top professor. His name is Professor Hong. He is a world second ranking in the citation of the journal. So it's a very good thing for us. So this is our department of chemistry. It's a very big and many facilities we have. Also, our department having Asia's biggest library. There are many things like, even though we're watching movie, to having many things, many extracurricular activity in the library. And the library is almost 24 hours open, but due to the pandemic, it's now working very less. So there are many facilities in my department, like we have high quality faculties. Also, my university offers many scholarships and well-funded research and projects for the student from Taiwan also, and from the for the abroad. Those students really looking forward the PhD doing in Taiwan. They can go to the directly on a website, and they can apply many professor. You can directly mail to them. You propose you present your proposal to them. If they are ready to take you, they will offer the University of Taiwan will offer the scholarship for 4 years program. So every month you are getting 10,000, and besides that, it depends on your professor funding. He will also provide you the extra funding for your research. So it's not difficult to survive here, because the living cost is also very less also, and the life of living is very good. People are very nice to you. Also, our department having well equipped laboratories. with various and instruments. Those are help you for the characterization, because when we are doing in India, I'm not comparing India and Taiwan, but those are country very developed in the research. They are having all facilities. So like when we are doing in India, we have very good research, but we are lack of the characterization facilities. Like when we are doing PhD, we need a NMR. Like if we are doing in a synthesis PhD, so you need a NMR as an instrument is very important. You need, when you finish the reaction, you need to check the reaction product, it is prepared or not. So it took a time in India, because when we submit, sometime you get your results after 7 days. So in between days, maybe your compound get decomposed or all these things happen. But in our laboratories in Taiwan, it is very fast process. Even though we have license, here a student can apply for the license. They are giving exams, and after a few days they are getting license, and they can use the machine their own selves. There is no instrument operator separately like in India. Here a student easily operate the instrument, so you can get a very fast result, and you are eligible to apply your knowledge in many fields. So in my laboratory, these are the well-equipped laboratories for the reactions. We have many stirring instruments, also the reaction setups you can see. And here also the chemical facilities are very good. When you order the chemicals, like if you order today chemical, after 2 or 3 days, you are getting the chemical very easily. It's not like in India, taking like 1 month or 2 months. So the facilities for getting anything like chemicals, instruments, even though glasswares, you are getting very fast. So these are some of the pictures for my laboratory. Here also the Rota evaporator is a very important thing in chemistry. Is used for the solvent remover. And in my field, I'm working in the gold catalysis. So the catalyst is a very important thing, and it's most of the catalysts, they are air sensitive and moisture sensitive. So they are very important. They are kept in the inert atmosphere. So this instrument is called glow box. So it actually pressurized by the nitrogen, inert gas. So these all catalysts are very preserved, and most of the gold catalysts are very expensive. So this glow box is very important for us. So we have many modern instruments, like HPLC is very important in the organic synthesis. So this instrument, when we have two compounds, those are not separable on a column chromatography or a preparative TLC. So this modern HPLC is very important for the separation of the two products. So it's a very easy process to separate the purification. And this instrument is very expensive, but we are very glad to have this instrument in our lab. Here also we have another HPLC instrument, and in the modern organic chemistry synthesis, that enantioselectivity is a very important, because the enantioselective compounds are very important in the natural products. Also, when we are preparing drugs, these are very important. Like when if you have any disease, so there are enantioselective drugs are very important. Enantioselective means they are very selective for the particular region. So we have this instrument for the checking enantioselectivity for the compound. So in my research, like a gold chemistry, what is the basic concept about the gold chemistry? The main starting material in our chemistry is the alkyne. Alkyne is sp2 carbon is the very important in our reaction. Also the alkene. So the goal is initially linearly coordinated this alkyne bond, and followed by this there are many different nucleophiles. Those are containing, I show this second picture. They are containing many different type of nucleophiles containing nitrogen and oxygen as a nucleophilic agent. So this is aziridine, also this anthranil with a different 1-2 positions, also triazole. And when the main important aspect in our gold chemistry is when we treated the gold with alkyne chemistry, and the nucleophile when attacked to the alkyne, This generates the alpha amino gold carbon as an intermediate, and this intermediate is very important, which is form these heterocycles. And heterocycles, those are containing nitrogen or oxygen. Those are very important in the field of this natural products or drug chemistry, so which is very helpful for this our research. So apart from my research, I would like to explain to the student what is the scope and process for higher studies. So after completion of the master or after UG or PG, so there are students are confused about what to do after that. So many students, they are choosing the job, private job. Maybe they are having some financial family financial problems. They are not looking forward to the research field. So there are many students, they are joining this government job, or they are looking private job in a company. So when you finish the chemistry, there are many options available. If you finish your master, and if you do in your master any kind of project, like there are many research institutes, they are providing, like they are giving opportunities to work as a project assistant, like in NCL, ISER. There are many advertisement coming every day. So you just look through the website and just apply for as a project assistant, because these are very important. When you do project in your master degree, it is very easy to get further research facility in any institute, and it is very easy to get a PhD also if you qualify easily, like a SETNet in the period of your master degree. So it's very easy. And when you are really interested in research field, so it is better when you finish like any project, so you got idea about the research, what is the research, what we have to do. So it's get many things like to know about the research. So it's a important thing is what you are really interested in the research. Like there are many people like doing organic chemistry in masters, analytical chemistry in masters. So it's depend on your master degree, you can choose the research field. Like analytical student, they are going in like instrumental for PhD in instrumental things. And organic chemistry people, they can do everywhere, like in a nanomaterial chemistry, organometallic chemistry. Also even the total synthesis is the very difficult and very important field in our PhD career, because those people, they are doing like total synthesis in the field of total synthesis PhD, they are getting job very easily over all the world, because total synthesis means like you are making drugs, and there are many drugs like having a more than 100-step drugs. So you can learn many things throughout the PhD career. And even though that field is very, sometimes you are feeling frustrated because it took times like 4 5 6 years for the completion of PhD, but it is very to get a job after that. And when you are looking for the PhD in abroad or India also, the Indian government or foreign countries also providing the various scholarships, so which cover your expenses. Even though many countries like European countries or US, UK, even Korea, Germany, other countries, they are providing airfare. Means the money doesn't matter for going abroad. You can manage money from everywhere. Even though you can if you qualify the exams like a GRE, TOEFL, those are very important in European country and USA. So you can easily apply many scholarships, and many professors, they are offering good funding, like even the more than $2,000, $3,000 in your PhD. So it is too much money. And once you get a PhD in foreign countries, so it is very easy to get a job in foreign also or in India also. And there are many government program also, like providing the PhD facilities. Even though the some government companies, even the private companies, when you are doing job in that company also provided PhD program besides your job, like for 3 to 4 years. So it's very good opportunities to join the PhD. So there are many advantages while studying abroad. The main thing when you are doing a PhD in abroad, the important thing is there is an improvement in your personal development. Even though I was in India, I was talking very less in English with my friends also, because wherever you are living, if I living in Maharashtra, I was always talking with my friends in a local language like Marathi. But it depends, when you are talking in English, most of the time it improves your personal development also, and your good ability to communicate with other peoples, like those are not knowing your local language. And it's very better when your English is good, so it's very easy to get in like it is very easy to suit with other countries culture, because the English is a universal language which helps to communicate people with very easily. And when you are doing like studying abroad, doing PhD or doing a job, whatever you are doing, there are very better career opportunities you are getting in your future. Even there are many, one of my many friends, they are finished their PhD and they are settled in Taiwan, also in Korea, because after finishing PhD or masters in foreign countries, we are very suitable for this culture here, and we are looking forward the better life. So we are trying, many people they are trying to go in India, trying to avoid go in India and settle there, because whatever, like sometimes we have too much qualified, but still we are not getting or getting good money or whatever good jobs in India. So people again looking forward to come again in foreign countries and looking for the jobs. Also, when you are doing study in abroad, so the main thing is your financial problems are mostly solved. There are many Indian people, like most of the Indian people, they are from middle class family, so they are always facing financial support. So that's why our students, they are not looking forward to do PhD in abroad. And even though they have a lack of knowledge, even there are many students after the under graduation, they are doing they are starting doing job, because even because of the financial support, they are not applying for a master for the masters, because the master also having a like 30 to 40K uh, fee per semester. And those are getting good marks, they are getting financial support from the university. So there are many students, they are not doing a master after the under graduation. Also same with the post graduation, there are up to 90% students, they are directly going after post graduation to the job. They are not, even though they are not trying like a SET and NET exam, because they are very, those students, they are working in like well educated educated cities like Pune, Mumbai. So they can think like we are try, at least we are try to give the SETNET exam or other. If they are working in a good institute like NCL, ISER, they are started to uh, approach or finding opportunities in abroad, because in NCL there is a uh, very big group of people, they are always connected with each other. And there are, and also even I look like when I came in Taiwan, here most of the students, they are from National Chemical Laboratory Pune, because their group contacts are very higher, and they are always helping each other. Like if I came here, I'm always like try to recommend one of my friend, he's also want to do PhD in Taiwan or other countries. So it's a very better to contact with them. And also the process, they will tell you how to go abroad and other things, what problem you face to go to abroad. And the last one is the adventure. Adventure means like when you are coming, like India also very big country, so when we go to other place, it's always looking for a nice to our country. But when you go to one country to another, so you met many different kind of peoples, their cultures, their natural beauties. So it's very a good thing, and it's a very good part of the adventure. You see, you learn many things. So come to the scope for the chemistry in daily life. Actually, why we are doing chemistry? what is the important of the chemistry in our daily life. So initially the supply of the food. So the chemistry is very important because of the chemistry we prepare many chemicals like preservatives or fertilizers. Those are very important. They are increasing the yield of the crops. Also they improve the quality of the food. By using preservative we can keep for longer time. Also the main important role for the contribution to our improve health and sanitize facilities. Like there are many dangerous diseases in the world like cancer, AIDS. So we can prepare the medicine by using chemistry. Without chemistry it's not a, it's very impossible to prepare these drugs and other things. Also we are saving the environment indirectly by chemistry. We are making eco-friendly chemicals. Also the fibers, pigments, those are not harmful to the environment. Also we are increasing the comfort, pleasure and luxuries, including like there are many things like we are using nylon as a very simple thing and easy to wash. Also we are making paints which make our life colorful. Also the scope of the chemistry in industry is very wide. We can make many things, and chemistry provides many jobs for the students in from undergraduation to the post graduation. There are many facilities available in the industry also. And the main scope of the chemistry, I think, is a disadvantage of our chemistry also in war, because there are many highly explosive chemicals like trinitrotoluene, nitroglycerin, RDX. These are very harmful and toxic and explosive chemicals which made by the chemistry. Even though when the RDX was prepared, it got also the dynamite, and it is getting a Nobel Prize for this. But after making this explosive, it become like a disadvantage for our chemistry also. So I would like to talk about, like, there are many opportunities during undergraduation and post graduation. I'm talking about between undergraduation and before the post graduation, because there are many problems students are facing about their financial problems. So they are looking for a private or government job. So there are many facilities available by the government also. So you can find many jobs through the internet also. Also there are many research institute. They are provided the projects in our college also, or research institute. So you have to just look through internet or your contacts, so you can get good opportunities while doing undergraduation and post graduation, which help you to your further education. And there are many challenges after post graduation. Actually, after post graduation, student thinking what we have to do after that. So it's like doing a job or research. So there are many students, they are confusing about this. So those people are interested in a research. They are looking forward for PhD in India also, or and abroad. And the PhD is a very it's a long time course, and you're doing when you finish your masters like up to 23 years. So PhD maybe take up to 7 years, 8 years. So it's a course which see your patience, your mental health. So it's a very difficult, because in PhD career there are many problems students are facing. Even though some, they are frustrated, because when you are choosing your professor in PhD, the important thing is, first you are very interested in your research. If you are not happy, then it's not very good to your career also. So it's better don't get under any pressure. Choose your field yourself. If my friend is going for PhD, so why should I go to PhD if I'm not interested? So it's better if you are interested to do PhD or anything, any job. So find your field carefully, because in I saw in a PhD career there are many things happen. Like student, they are choosing professor, and it's important also. There are many professors, they are very strictly in their field because they are providing too much money. So even though they are expected same like you repay their money. So in my lab also I'm working more than like 14 hours. Even we are starting from 9 to up to 12. And even my boss also working in the lab up to 9 to 12 is giving good money. So they just want good feedback from us. So we have to also well determined for our work. PhD is a very good thing if you are doing very well, and you have to work hard because there is only work hard. You can enjoy your life, but PhD you have to work only with your field. Once you get your PhD, there are many opportunities open in the world. You can go anywhere, like for a postdoc. There are many scholarships for the research, like Marie Curie, DAD, Humboldt Fellowship. Once you are getting this fellowship and you finish your course, after that you are getting job very easily. Like in India also, you are getting academic or in research institute, even though you can easily got a job in foreign countries. So when you are doing a research, so PhD is just looking your patience, because sometimes student, there are many students, they are leaving PhD after 2 years, 3 years, because after 2 or 3 years they are thinking maybe might be I choose a wrong field or something. But it just PhD is just looking your patience. So be calm and focus your work, because the time is the very important thing which cover all your problems. So you have to just face these days and focus your work. So thank you so much for giving me these opportunities to guide students.
Yes, thank you, Yashwan, for giving such a wonderful talk. Okay, no doubt India is best for so many things, but about
Yeah,
research we have to compare, no doubt, because of the characterization
facilities.
facilities
Yeah,
which are available in so many countries than India. In India also we have a national chemical laboratories, ICER, right,
yeah,
Pune University, and so many IITs also, IISc, but those are like restricted for a group of people, right?
people.
If
Yes,
even in our college we do have a lot of facilities, but again it is restricted to a number of people. That will be
yeah.
like yeah, you have pointed out so many good things. Now if audience, if you have any question, you can just raise your hand. I can unmute you, so you can ask the question. Vaishnavi ma'am, you can also unmute them.
Okay, sir.
Vaishnavi Gotal. So I'll just yes, Vaishnavi.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, yes, you can ask question.
Yes, sir. I want to ask if I'm doing my PhD in other country and then came back to India for my further career, like will I have to pass any entrance exam like after PhD for settling here in India?
Okay, and actually nowadays PhD is equivalent to our national exams. If you are doing PhD in a university which rank is less than 300, so you can directly eligible for the like academic also for assistant professor. So there is no need to do net set exam, but your
Okay.
university rank is less than 300. Otherwise you have to qualify our national exams like set, net, gate.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What more, ma'am?
Yes. Yashwant,
Yes, ma'am.
It was very, very good lecture, informative, and for young students who are in pandemic, they are doing online. Literally, it is a feast from
Yes,
Vikram sir. Vikram sir, thank you very much for
Thank you.
organizing such event.
One more point I forgot to mention, ma'am. Yashwant have shared a link of like a 2-3 pages link are there. How to
Okay,
apply, where to apply, and how many fellowship scholarships
okay,
are there, like in India as well as abroad. I'll try
okay,
to share that on our Telegram group with the students.
okay,
So
okay.
I don't think this is the platform
I,
because yeah. So I'll share that soon. You can ask the
yes, sir,
question.
yes, sir. Yeah, yes. Yeshwan,
yes, ma'am.
how good Taiwan is for girl students
Taiwan. Taiwan is a
for
very
PhD?
Taiwan is a very safe country for girls. Here,
Okay,
girls are very safer than like us because
okay,
here government rules are very strictly about like any crime. If you do like
okay,
if you break the traffic rules, also you are getting fined more than 10,000. If you hit the car,
okay,
you are getting fined around 1 lakh. So
okay,
people are very scared about this thing, and the
okay.
culture is very nice for girls. Actually, girls can
So
do
no
anything
problem.
here. Yeah, no problem.
Safety and
Safety.
security, no problem.
Yeah,
Okay.
even
So
though
do
you
you find
can.
currently few girl students are there? They are pursuing their PhD in chemistry, physics, or some life
Yeah,
sciences.
yes. There are many girls, but most of the girls from like North India, South India.
Ah, yes, from Maharashtra,
Yeah,
I don't find
because of
anyone from.
very few girls from Maharashtra. Because I look here,
Okay, okay. Now,
very few.
now me and Vikram sir will pursue for Taiwan. Okay, sir. Okay.
I think Dr. Krishna will also share his insight on this question.
Okay, okay, okay.
Hello.
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Hello everyone. Nice to talk, Dr. Havaldar sir, as well as Dr. Yash.
Yes,
Nice
yes.
introduction. Taiwan also. Taiwan is actually very nice for the research.
Okay.
Taiwan is very convenient for life and as well as greenery. Let
Mhm.
me tell you one thing about the world unique semiconductor company is named as TSMC in the Taiwan. Everyone have mobile, so the semiconductor chip of the everyone's mobile is coming from Taiwan.
Okay.
Actually, as well as the TIGP is one of the prestigious fellowship in Taiwan, so you can apply for the TIGP fellowships. In we discuss about the India. India is one of the very biggest platform of the research in the world after the USA and China.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, India have only two competitors in the world. One is the USA, and while another is obviously China. But for that, we need to find the position, a better position, and the research lab in India. Obviously, competition is there. I have few questions to Dr. Yash. First
Okay.
question is
Yes.
that in foreign countries, how to approach the professors to be more secure in your position in the PhD?
After PhD or for
For
PhD?
the PhD, for the PhD.
Okay, so there are many, like if you approach to the universities or like directly to the professor, you can go to directly the university web page, and you most important thing is you have to know in which field you have to do the work. Like if you want to do the work in the organic synthesis, you have to look forward the professor, those are working in the organic field thing. So there are department wise, you can search the professor, and on the professor profile there are uploading their uh, publications. So you have to look throughout this which professor is good in the work, and there are directly the name student name in the publication, so you can directly contact through the internet also if it is possible. So it is better option to know that professor is good or how is giving the funding. So there are many things you can directly approach to the professor. Even though also in the there are many internet websites which providing the PhD opportunities. Also on Facebook nowadays, social media is a very important tool to connect the people. So on the internet in Facebook, there are many PhD positions group are available. So you can just find out PhD position groups. So there are many options, and you just apply for the join the group. So you can get
obviously
all information from that group.
Platform
So,
in the world actually. My second question is that other than PhD, means we discuss about only for the PhD, but what are the other jobs abroad other than the PhD?
Other jobs, like if you do master in in foreign countries, because it is very less people from India they are doing a master, because those students they are doing a masters in abroad, they are having a good financial background, because doing master is a very difficult, because we have to pay a lot of much fee. So once you finish, like if you do any project in a foreign countries, so it is very easy to get a job in India also, because when I was doing a master's in India, there are two girls. Our college they are sending to the Japan for only 6-month project, and after that they just came and apply for the like a big companies, and they are getting very easily job.
Okay.
And when like it's in Taiwan, it is very important, like you have to learn the Taiwanese language, so you can get a very easily job in Taiwan. But in foreign countries like other USA or UK, after masters it is very easy to get a job in like pharmaceutical companies or other companies also. I'm not talking about only pharmaceutical companies. So it depends on your field. In masters, what we do, like in engineering also, you are getting very good job opportunities. So it depends on your field.
Okay. And
Okay, Yashwant, can you speak Taiwanese now?
No, ma'am.
yes,
Just basic,
But
ma'am.
you
Only.
can.
basic words
Okay.
no.
Yeah, like just
You got
contact
5
with.
years. You are 5 years, na? 5 years and more over there.
Yeah, but in our initial first year we have the Chinese course, ma'am. But it depends on us. We didn't give too much time, because we are working in the lab 9 to 12. Initially 6 months we don't have work. That time I was speaking at least good, but nowadays just speaking, just contact with the people, how to buy anything or where we have to go, but not like completely. And this is the main actually restriction, because in Taiwan getting a job is very difficult for chemistry people also. If you want to find the job in Taiwan, you must speak Chinese.
Okay. And
Yeah.
they have so many, I mean, it's difficult.
Yeah, it's very difficult. And
It's very
as a like a TSMC is the biggest company in the world, that company offers, it's a very big salary for the peoples.
Okay.
But we have to speak Chinese. It's a very compulsion here.
That's why IIT people, IIT students, na, they
Yeah.
are behind that Chinese language. I mean,
Chinese
to
language.
learn it. Yeah.
And even we look also, like when foreigner student coming in the Taiwan, so they actually already learned from their country. They took a course of 6 or
yes.
8 months. But in we people, we never did like this. It's a very bad thing for us. If you like, if I also want to go Germany or Mexico, we need to learn that Spanish language before 6 months. So it is very convenient to get that, like very easy to communicate with that people.
That means student must have plan, or
Yeah.
earlier plan student must have in first year or in PSC.
And the job opportunities also increases when there is a special language in any country.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Yash, I have another question to you.
Okay.
You mentioned about the Marie Curie as well as the DARD fellowships.
Yeah.
For the you mentioned about for postdoc only, but what about the masters? Means after the masters we apply for the DARD. Generally, many people have applied for the DARD, but what are the basic requirements? Means there compulsion of the IELTS or TOEFL, or only masters students is enough for the application?
No. Actually, nowadays IELTS and GRE TOEFL is a must for when you are applying to this big scholarship like Marie Curie, DAD. So his master is not only thing, and also you need a strong background from your master. Also, you need at least something you did like a project in your master degree also. They are not just looking like you did a good, you have a good grade in your masters. So it's not a only thing. There are many things. You need a strong recommendation when you are applying this big scholarship. So there are many factors.
Yashwant,
Yes, ma'am.
do you find for MSc second year project must be there? I mean, every student must do MSc second year project.
Here,
No, in India, I mean in SP College or in Garware College, see, we have option for organic chemistry. They can do
yeah,
green chemistry practicals or project.
yeah, yeah.
So what do you find? I mean, what is important more? Project is important or practicals are more important?
Actually, when I did my master, I did practical that time because that time I didn't actually I don't have any knowledge about that time. But project is very important actually. After that, my friends they are getting project as a project assistant very easily after the master in NCL or other things.
Okay, so you recommend project?
Yeah, I recommend project because after my master, I gave many interviews in NCL, but those students I actually got selected. They already did a project in NCL also riser, so they are getting very easily.
Okay.
So my project is very important.
Thank you.
Sorry for interruption. Let me add one more thing in Dr. Yashwant's talk. Actually, for just ma'am asked for the master project, right? So, so may I suggest? Actually, in Taiwan also one of the biggest prestigious fellowship TIGP, they gave them master student around 50,000 INR for 3 or 4 months staying here with flight airfare tickets also. So if some master students are interested to apply, then they can apply for here also. Is fine.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
If anyone has any question, please raise your hand and you can ask. If you have any question, please raise your hand so that we can unmute or allow mic to you.
Okay, so but this is today's lecture. Now tomorrow we will have one more lecture on winning habits by Professor Vivekananda Javade. So this timing is 8:30 to 10:30. You have to join the same Telegram group. I will share the link. After that, we also have the lecture on how to search for a job after BSc as well as after PG by using a LinkedIn. This lecture will be given by Dr. Swapnil Sonone. After that, we have a very good lecture on how to prepare for interviews by the Associate Vice President, Sudarshan Chemicals, Mahesh Metello, and chief guest for this program is Vadgaonkar sir from NCL. After that, we have one more lecture from our staff, that Vaishnavi Thorat ma'am, on how to prepare for the entrance exam and all the competitive exams. Then there will be one more lecture on what is basic research, like a publication, then journals, its H index and impact factor from the Dr. Ashwini Danav ma'am. And for this, we have a chief guest, Dr. Sudhir Arbuz. He is a senior scientist in CIMET Pune. And last lecture that we are going to, we have scheduled on 31st of July, Saturday. That is from Dr. Sushil Kumar Dhanmane on career opportunities in chemistry. So I'll again recommend, if you are not joined the Telegram group, please join the group. The link is already been shared on all the WhatsApp groups. Please join it. All the links will be provided on the same group only. I think we have one question from Prashant Singh.
Good morning, sir. Sorry.
Yeah.
During PhD admission, what they have asked in the interview.
Sorry, will you please repeat the question? I didn't think you.
Yes, sir. So
Yeah.
I'm saying that during taking admission in PhD,
Okay.
before that they have take interviews. So what they are asking in the interview?
Okay. Actually, now if you are doing if you are applying for a PhD in a foreign country, they are taking like Skype interview and they are asking what you did before, like you did any projects or all these things, and in your project they are asking basic questions. They are asking about your they are just looking forward your knowledge about these things, because it's very totally different about your research and the other professor research. Because if you did your project in organic chemistry, but the professor he's working in bioorganic chemistry, so both our fields are very different. So they are just looking forward your basic knowledge about chemistry. So they are asking me like name reactions, your basic chemistry knowledge. So it's not tough interview, just prepare for a basic concept about chemistry.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
I think ma'am has one more question. Yes, ma'am, you can ask question.
Hello.
Yes, fun.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any timeline for admission for a PhD? I mean, particular months or something like that? Or
Yes,
any time
ma'am.
of the year? you can apply?
No. Actually, in Taiwan, there are 2 semesters. So one is in February and one is September. So the application there started before 2 months. Like in
That means
if you
July.
want to, yeah, July or June. So you have to just check that university website. So they put their advertisement on their directly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it depends on
Yes,
university. Like in
one
Taiwan,
more
there are
question.
2 times.
P, I didn't find his name or her name. Yes, you can ask question.
Hello.
Hello.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Sir, it is necessary to have experience for applying a PhD in abroad or India?
No, it's not actually compulsion. You have experience or
Yeshwant,
not.
just 1 minute.
Okay.
Will you please again stop the sharing of your screen, because we cannot see you.
Who, me or?
Yeah, your video is, we cannot see you on the screen.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes. Now you are visible. You can answer now.
It's not necessary to have a experience in your like after graduations. It depends on a professor. If he is interested in your profile, he can directly approach you. But in foreign countries, you need to prepare for other exam for like English proficiency, like a GRE, TOEFL, and other things.
Okay. Are there any more questions? Okay, no, I don't think there are more questions now. Okay, so thank you very much, Yashwant, again for giving such a wonderful talk. Again, I am repeating that all the websites, all the links which is provided by Dr. Yashwant, I will share them on our Telegram group. Thank you very much for all the, I think more than 140, 150 students they have joined. So I would like to thank them also. Thanks to Wagmude ma'am, then Krishna for joining the lecture, Shah sir. I can see the Godke sir, Patil sir, Patwardhan ma'am from HV Desai College. I want to thank all of them for giving their valuable time. They have joined the lecture. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Vaishnavi madam, can I stop?
Yes, sir.
Okay then.
Thank
Bye.
you all
Bye.
of you.
Okay, thank you.
You all can leave the meeting. Thank you all of you.
Thank you.